There we go. Good morning. A few minutes early, just a couple. But with all the weather we've been having, I wanted to make sure that everything was working properly. So let's see. There's that little, oopsie. There we go. That's better. All right. Happy Sunday, Tanisha. How are you doing this morning? I am a minute or two early, so I'm just gonna wait for it to hit 9 o'clock real quick. Have a sip of coffee. I'm doing well. Doing well. Happy to be back home after a nice holiday. Are you in the US? All right. As we start, I'll kind of go into. So last week worked well. The Wicked spread was fun. I liked it. It was great, having the different pinks and greens and things throughout. Worked really well down at the bottom. I love having somewhere to track these. Oh, you're about to get up and have some breakfast. Excellent. Well, welcome. I love having you. It's always fun to have people to chat with as I do my Sunday planning. Alabama, excellent. Did you guys get hit at all with the snow? I'm not sure how far south it went. Here in St. Louis, we usually don't have snow this time of year, but we got slammed with some snow yesterday. So hopefully you're not digging out of anything. I am going to start with some washi this week. I am using this Bloomsical Washi. I love this. All the little sparklies. Even though I don't like snow, I really, really like the this washi. I love the colors in it, the soft pinks and grays, and it just feels very cozy to me. So we're going to use this. I did. Oh, you got a tornado last week. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. The weather's been a little bit different in the last probably 10 years than the rest of the time that I've been on this planet anyway. Or it has at least felt different. Let's see. I'm going to stick this at 9 today. So normally I put this washi at 10 because I always say I don't plan anything after 10. But this week I'm going to put it at 9 because it's a little bit wider washi. And I do still want to have these spaces at the bottom for things. So hopefully you and all of your family are okay after the tornado. We had those when I lived in Illinois, and I know they can be very, very random. Actually, we had some here in St. Louis right after we moved as well. They can cause a lot of destruction. So, let's see. There we go. I think this washi is just so pretty and so girly, and I don't often go this girly so many weeks in a row, but this is just super soft and pink, and I'm really digging that right now. Um, I'm going to start this with a couple of lines. So right now, I'm going to do my watching, reading, and meals down at the bottom. I'm using my, you always hope for snow. I am one of the few northern people that just, I should not live in the north. I should live somewhere south where there is no snow. I would be happy to send you any snow that we get. Um, I am not a snow person myself. I always use this fine liner just to kind of enhance certain lines sometimes when I don't want it to really stand out, so I don't necessarily want to use black. Um, and that way I can see what I've sectioned off, but it's not overly uh, powerful, I guess. I'm going to put just a couple lines for my headers here. We have got reading. We've got watching. Right now, we are watching. We haven't quite finished rewatching the first 4 seasons of Stranger Things. We're in the middle end of season 4, trying to rewatch everything so we can remember what's going on. And then watch the beginning of season 5. I guess it's a good thing we weren't all ready to watch season 5 on Wednesday. I heard Netflix crashed, and a lot of people were disappointed they didn't get to see everything. I'm gonna draw a workbox in. So I already did an alternate plan with me of this week. And I did not do the time blocking like we're doing here in the alternate version. I do really like to have the time block. I find it helpful in kind of situating myself throughout the day to just have times noted for things. However, when it comes to like the work block, I'm not really looking to this page throughout the week to inform me of where I'm supposed to be. Once I get to work, I know I'm supposed to be at work. So I'll often kind of use this space to fill in little tasks, or, occasionally we do have some meetings that pop up. But I'm looking mainly to my digital calendar for those. I have that Outlook calendar at work, and I don't necessarily need to have things written in here uh, for those meetings, but I do sometimes like having those. Um, I'm just kind of widening the base of these numbers. And I don't know why I wrote 4 to 7. I have no idea where that came from. I was just in my head and doing my thing, and don't know why, but I don't work from 4 to 7. Uh, that is so strange. I have no idea why I did that. Oh, goodness. It's going to be one of those Sundays, huh? All right. So I'm just kind of widening areas on the numbers and letters where it kind of feels like it makes sense. All right. I do have a 4. I had one number right. It just wasn't in the right spot. Goodness. Every once in a while, I have one of those days, and I think this is going to be one of them. All right. There we go. Anyway, as I was saying, I like having this work block here because it shows me that I can't put anything else in there. I can't have a personal event or something in the middle of this block. But I don't necessarily need to keep my personal calendar in here. I'm checking Outlook and letting it tell me when meetings and things are coming up. That was mainly what I was trying to say when I went off the rails there entirely with the wrong time. Goodness. So we've got date night on Tuesday. I don't have a pink that matches exactly, but this pink does come pretty close to this color right in here. It's about as close as I can get. And I definitely do not have anything quite that peachy. If I get something peachy, it tends to go a little over that. It doesn't have that softness to it. So I'm not going to try and pick up the peachy color at all. I am, however, going to put in my little driving blocks. I've been putting in historically kind of a whole hour for driving home, and it usually doesn't take me that long. So I'm just going to stick to a little half hour here. And I still haven't figured out how to go into work a little bit earlier. My hours are not set. I can go in whenever I want. And as long as I'm working my 8 hours, they don't necessarily care when it is, but everybody else comes in later. So even when I get there at 8:30, I am there before everyone else for at least an hour. And so when I leave at 4:30, I'm leaving before everyone else. And sometimes it just feels awkward. And so leaving, if I go in earlier, I'm still not leaving until at least 4:30, and then I end up working extra, and I'm working on salary, so I don't get overtime. So there's no point really in working extra. Um, so I'm just going to write on this first day because it's going to be more of the same throughout the week. So there's that. And then let's make sure that we put in our plan with me for next week. All right. That is looking good. I do want to put something at the top here on the weekend. And so I have this coordinating. So I don't know how easy it is to see here in the, let me see if I bring this up, if it shows at all. They're holding on to these little coffee cups with little snowflakes on them here. And I have a coordinating like hot cocoa coffee cup washi that came as part of the set. I have several washis that kind of all came together. I have this one that has some books and some bows, and that's really cute. And then I have this one that has the days of the week written on it. I actually used this on my alternate plan with me. So I did the alternate plan with me ahead. I did it yesterday um, because I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to have internet this morning. Our internet went out with the snow a lot yesterday. So because I wasn't sure I was going to have internet, I filmed the alternate thinking that in a worst case scenario, I could just post the alternate as a premiere, and then I could at least sit with you guys in the chat on my phone if my internet went out this morning. But fortunately, I don't have to do that. All right. We are good with that. There are some basketball games I'm going to write in just because my partner really likes to watch IU basketball. Um, and so I'm just going to write in the start time of those games just because I know that he will be interested in the game at that point, and it'll be a little bit harder to get him to want to do anything other than watching the game. And then, of course, there's a Colts game on Sunday. He grew up in Indiana, so Indiana teams are his thing. Now, I do have some birthdays this week, so let's put those in. We've got those in pink so that I make sure I see them. At the beginning of the day. And then we have some other kind of events or things going on that I will also add in, but I'm going to do those in this kind of gray color because they don't need to, I don't need them to stand out at me as much. So we have the cold full moon. And payday. Yay. All right. Now I am starting Vlogmas basically through December, which basically means you're going to get a video hopefully every day in December. And so I'm going to put some dots along here for each of those videos. There we go. And I have a short here. And a short here. All right. Get a sneak peek at the YouTube video schedule. So we have the December analytics on Monday. Those are never as popular as the planning videos, but I think that it'll be really neat to look back at least the first year of YouTube and how things were going and, how a small channel starts. I don't know, Tanisha, do you have a channel that you are working with? And if so, do you have larger channel or smaller channel? Um, right now, obviously, my channel is very small still. Um, but at some point, it might grow bigger, and then it would be nice to look back on how that growth happened over time. So, um, let's see. Apparently, the talking and the writing at the same time thing is hard this week. Uh, so, um, just taking it a little bit slow as I write and talk. Okay, so I'm putting in what I know so far. And that is, I know I'll have my December analytics on Monday because it's the first of the month. And so that will then bump the alternate week 49 to Tuesday. This is already uploaded, this alternate week 39 or week 49. And then I will have the week 18 on YouTube on Friday. You do. Excellent. Fantastic, Tanisha. After the live, I'll go and check out your channel um, for sure and see what you've got going on over there. I think it's always great to support the smaller, um, smaller creators that are trying to get started with something. My goodness, words are hard this morning. It is just one of those mornings. All right, so since you guys are on the live, I have got a little sneak peek at what's happening on Thursday. So I received this in the mail. This is the Rosy Life Planner, and I do a complete unboxing and I show you inside the planner. We go through all the different spreads that it has in it and walk through the whole planner. This is going to be my alternate planner for 2026. And so I was super excited. This arrived on, it arrived on Friday. It was here when we got home on Friday. So since you're here on the live, you get to see what the RLP means. It is a super interesting planner, and I'm kind of excited for it, but at the same time, I'm a little bit nervous. And one of the reasons I didn't pick it as my main planner is that it is a full year in one book, and it's a chunky book. So it has vertical weeks and horizontal weeks and a whole bunch of extra planning pages and individual daily pages for every day. There is a lot going on in that book, and it is a chunker already. And the idea of having that and then adding, I mean, my books fluff up a lot. So if we look at this, And this is getting fluffy, and I've only been using this for about a month as my planner. Um, my sterling ink is super fluffy compared to where it started. I think where it started was probably about that thick, and now it's feeling really fluffy. And I am worried about being in in a planner for a full year. Right now, I only use half a year at a time. So I'm going to give it a try. We'll see if we like it. You guys will get to come along on that journey with me and try all of the fun things in that planner. Um, but it arrived. It's the first of the planners to arrive. My Plans by Just Scribble is, if you follow along, there have been a few different little delays, first from the manufacturer and then customs and such. But it's on the way, and I don't need it until January, so I'm not real worried about it. It's coming. Um, and that's expected to come probably sometime next week. It'll arrive, and so I'll do an unboxing of that one as well when it gets here. Um, and I'll show you all around that one and how I'm going to use it once it arrives. Actually, I have two coming. I have a vertical and a horizontal from Just Scribble. The idea was that one would become kind of a um, YouTube planner so that I can put in the YouTube videos and then do some scripting. So I'm not kind of talking out of my head the way I am right now, where I'm just saying whatever comes to mind, where things are a bit more planned out, especially for some of the videos like the unboxing, where I, at least write specific features that I want to talk about, things like that. Let's see. I can do a work tracker in here. In my alternate, because it's the sterling ink and it's a B6, so this is an A5 that I'm in right now. This is the Plans by Just Scribble. So this is what I'm going to have again next year as well. And my sterling ink that I was in for much of the year, I don't have as much room in here for trackers by the time I add a little bit of decoration on the side. I love the way this turned out, and it was really, really fun, but my trackers aren't, I don't have as much room for those. So I ended up just writing in the work hours. Sometimes I do. When I turned it sideways, I did have enough room to do a little tracker for each, but not normally or not always. So uh, the alternate plan with me that I did have room for a sleep tracker, and then I did a teeny tiny work tracker. So I did that a little bit differently. But I loved the sterling ink. I was in the sterling ink at the beginning of the year and up until I started this new job. But I really, really need notes pages, daily notes pages. And I don't have enough pages left in my sterling ink to get me through the end of the year. So I'm over here using something different now. I don't like to switch planners in the middle of the 6-month period. I find that it kind of throws me off a little bit. And I don't like to have to store two planners either. To me, that's just, it gets to be a lot. I have over 10 years of planners on my shelves, and having that many gets to be quite a bit. um, go. The work tracker gets to be a lot skinnier than the sleep tracker. You know, for a long time, I thought, oh gosh, I go all the way down to 4 o'clock or 4 hours on the sleep tracker and all the way up to 10. And 8 is my goal in terms of sleep. And I am never close to that. So if we go back and look, well, let's see, I'll bring this one over. At just this past week, the sleep tracker, I was down in the 3.5 hour range here. It's just a little over 3.5 hours on this day. And then I did get above 8 hours the next day, but I mean, it can be all over the place. I'm less likely to be in the 9 and 10 hour range than I am to be down here, unfortunately. I'm trying to get better about that. I know it's not good to not be sleeping as much, um, but it is the reality. All right, so I would like something to go in here. I'm going to really think about that while I'm putting in, let's put in our weather. And as I think about what I want to add in down there. So I always want to be careful of where once I get the pen to dry, it's fine. But I want to be careful of sticking my arm. I have a habit of sticking my hand on something I've written recently and then smudging it. So we have 29, 20, and there's supposed to be moisture, snow, unfortunately, again. I may try and work from home that day. We've got that polar vortex thing that apparently slips down sometimes when there's not enough warm air to hold that polar vortex up on the Arctic. It will slip down and we get unseasonably cold weather. And I am not a fan. That polar vortex can just stay up where it's supposed to. But unfortunately, this week it has slipped and is down here hanging around with us. And unfortunately, that's bringing some snow. Looks like by next weekend, it should be heading back north where it belongs. All right. So again, we're expecting moisture these 2 days. I don't, because weather forecasts can change so frequently, I don't really put a forecast in here, but I do underline where there is supposed to be any form of moisture. You know, I know if the temperature is what these temperatures are, that moisture is going to be snow. If it's a warmer temperature, it's going to be rain. But either way, it's just nice to kind of know ahead of time, especially if you have to drive to and from work and you're dealing with traffic. Sometimes people drive like idiots in snow and rain, and so it's just nice to have those noted, those days that I'm going to have to deal with that kind of thing. This day, interesting. I'm going to put this here. I don't usually do wacky holidays all the time, especially in this book. I haven't been adding the wacky holidays, but this is Cookie Day, and how can you not celebrate Cookie Day? So clearly, I'm going to have to make some cookies down here. and celebrate Cookie Day. All right, so I'm liking the way this is looking right now, but I do want to add something over here and maybe some stickers in this spread. I did forget stickers last week, and so I have this here. Do I have anything that might... No, nothing that is kind of sticking out for this week. That was just laying on the desk, so I figured I'd look through it first. Thanks. I just dropped a whole entire cup of pens. That'll be fun to deal with later. Sorry for that loud noise. Hope it didn't come through as loud on the through the microphone. Let's see, oh, we have a full moon this week. So if I have something with kind of a pinkish moon, that would work well. I don't know if I do. Maybe even get away with a grayish moon. I bet. Potentially. I like this, but I'm not loving it for this spread. It's got a little too much of that purple pink in it. And this has a little too much blue and not as much gray as I would like. So I'm going to set that aside. I will still think about it. But I don't think those kind of give me the vibe that I'm looking for. Now, here we go. We're into, these are some stickers that I have from Southern Belle Plans. Let's see. I absolutely love her stickers. But we have these girls with the cups really kind of coordinate well here. I'm thinking, ooh, interesting. Okay. I'm thinking I could do like a little stack of blankets and then put the cookies and the cocoa on top of the blankets, and that'll take like the entire... Or do I want to do a stack of books? I could do a stack of books. Or I could do this all in one. All right, I think I'm going to go with my original plan here. We are going to get a nice little stack of blankets, and where I would never do this in real life, and stick cookies and glass of something on top of a stack of blankets. We're going to do it here because that looks cute. Kind of goes well with the theme, and it makes sort of kind of sense sitting on top there of the stack. I don't know. There's a blanket and a stack of books and a cup here, so that kind of got me thinking about it. But I do want the cookies in there because we've got Cookie Day this week. And so that's why I'm not using this one. But I think that'll be super cute to have here on the side. The colors work well, and we are good to go on that. Now let's see what other fun stickers we can use. I've been a little lax in using stickers this week. I haven't used as many, recently in this planner especially, haven't been using as many of the stickers. So I do know tomorrow. Let's see. Let's get into my sticker book. Tomorrow, my partner has to go for some testing ahead of his surgery. I thought I had little doctor stickers over here, but I must not. This is all my all the activity. You can see I haven't used many of these, activity stickers because I am not being good about doing things like getting on the treadmill and getting out and working out with the weights and things like that. So these aren't getting used as much as they should. I do have these cute little footballs. Those are super cute. I could put one of those on the weekend. I'm just going to take the football itself and stick it right here. There we go. And let's see, I'm going to need my other book, I think. Not that one. There are too many sticker books running amok right now around my desk. Feeling a bit disorganized right now. I've got to really clean up my desk, and things are a little chaotic. I'm going to put in a little working sticker here on the bottom. Thank you very much. Yeah, I like my spread to be functional first. Cute is great, and I love cute, but functional is the most important for me. I'm going to take this little, okay, so I have these little photography emojis, and this one has a phone, and that phone coordinates color-wise. So I'm going to go ahead. I know a lot of people, like if you watch Helen from the Coffee Monster Co., she'll select her sticker first, and then she'll write in what she's doing. I can't do that. um, it's really hard for me to put in the stickers first and then everything else. Here we go. This is what I was thinking. I have these little needles here, and I haven't written in his appointment yet, but I do know when it is. So I think I probably ought to, just so that I'm aware in case he needs something by phone. So this is one of the cases where I'm going to put something in and then I'm going to write. And this is not even the right time. I put it on and it's not at the right time. Let's move that. I'm sure I just heard a whole bunch of you audibly gasp as I wrinkled my page there. This is always held together in this book with this pen throughout the day, as I'm going to and from work. It will flatten over time. I'm not worried about a little bit of crinkling. It'll be fine. Get that in there. And then I do know here on the at 2, I do have a construction meeting at 2. And I'd like a little something for date night. So let's find a sticker for date night. I like that. So this is the spread love emojis. And that is always a great one for date night. So I'm going to put that right there in the middle. So just a few little stickers here and there just to soften the page a bit and give it a little bit more interest and character. One of the things that I think is interesting is that there are a lot of people that will use kind of these more realistic looking stickers and then be afraid to put these more iconography based stickers. So the emojis and the football and the little needle, and a lot of times people are afraid to mix and match, but once you get it all on the page, it actually looks fine and it doesn't really clash with one another. They're just telling a different story. So this is telling the story of the, kind of the theme of the week here. And then these are telling more of the story of what's going on every day, kind of that smaller story. So you got an overarching theme and then kind of the smaller plot points in a story. And so it doesn't really conflict at all. It ends up working really well together. But I think this is where I'm going to kind of end it for the week. I like the way this looks. I'm happy with it. I do need to add in just a line here and put work hours for the total. How many hours I end up working for the week. Again, I'm on salary, so I get paid for the 40, no matter how many this is. So it's really just for my own benefit, just to make sure that I am not overextending myself, but also to make sure that I'm meeting that 40 for sure that's expected of me. So I think that is it for the week. This is my first week of December already. I can't believe it's already December. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Tanisha, it was nice to have a new face in the comments. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.